Hi, I'm Scott,
And I'm Luke.
and we're Android guys,
Give us 5 to 10 minutes of your day
and we'll tell you about a product or service.
or an app that you might be interested in.
Coming up, the third generation of a tablet designed for the everyman. Hey, Luke, what are you talking about over there today?
I am talking about the Lenovo M10 Plus. This is the third generation tablet from Lenovo.
All right.
This thing is pretty cool. It comes in at $180 and it's great for just a alternate device for browsing the web and some productivity stuff.
Yeah, so tablets are a thing that feels like there was a lot made about them early on.
Yep.
And then they kind of disappeared from, it kind of felt like Amazon owned that space with the Kindle Fire.
Yeah.
And then there's, of course, the iPad.
Yep.
But then we started to move more into this like 2-in-1 hybrid device.
Yeah.
Things that can be flexible, that work as a tablet, may or may not come with a keyboard accessory, that type of thing. So tablets are kind of like, is there still a use case for those?
Yeah. What do you do with them now?
Yeah. So, and I know that this particular model you can get in a couple different configurations.
Yes.
Let's take a break, and then we'll dive into the specs on the model you have.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about what you think about it.
Sounds good.
Okay, so the Tab M10 Plus, as we mentioned, is available in a couple of configurations. Looks like anywhere from 150 to 180.
Yeah.
So it's in this kind of like it's an intentional amount of money to spend. It isn't like a quick splurge. Like, hey, I'm just gonna add this. I've got a phone. I've got a laptop. I think I'll add a tablet to my device portfolio.
Right.
However, Amazon has its own thing established, with prices that are under this,
Right.
or about this, that kind of seem to own a sizable part of the market. And when you think about Android tablets, it's my phone's plenty big enough for a lot of what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a laptop. Do I need a tablet?
Right.
You have spent some time with this particular one.
Yeah.
Are you the type of person who needs a tablet, first of all?
No.
Okay.
No. I have a laptop. I have 2 laptops actually. I have a desktop. But and I have an iPad. But I've found in reviewing this that I go to pick this up more frequently than I do a laptop. Because most of the time, if I'm not during my work day, I work off of a laptop it's docked and I have multiple monitors. And so I use that. But I find at home, if I'm just looking, browsing Amazon or looking up Reddit or something like that, I don't want to pull my laptop out for that.
Sure.
I usually just use my phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I've found having this tablet in my hand, it's a nice size. It's one that I can hold in one hand.
Yeah.
And look at stuff. You can see pictures better, than your phone. I'm using a Pixel 7 Pro, so it's not like my phone is small.
Sure.
But this is just, it's a 10.6 inch display.
10.5 inch display.
It's just nice. It's not something that I'm going to do heavy lifting. If I'm not editing video on it, I'm not doing high intensity gaming on it.
Right.
But it runs Android 12.
Yeah.
It's not a Pixel experience, but
Sure.
it's Android 12. So it's very familiar.
Right.
It's like being in my phone. All the same gestures for the most part work. It's a really easy transition. And since it runs on Android, I sign in with my Google account.
Right.
All my stuff's there. my bookmarks, my passwords, my email. It's actually really nice. We were talking about this earlier before we started recording. It's really nice to just be on email on a tablet, on a Android experience versus even the Chrome browser experience.
Yeah. For me, like when I spend time with like a Fire HD tablet,
Yeah.
it kind of keeps me away from the Play Store
Yeah.
and installing all of the stuff that I normally have on my phone.
Yep.
So that becomes more of like a lean back or lean in experience for me.
Sure.
But then there are times where I want that same device to be my some of the apps that I would use on my phone.
Yeah.
Specifically things that I might get from the Play Store.
Yep.
And some of those Google apps.
Yep.
And a lot of those things that are designed for these larger screens, and Google has done a better job of not just for itself, but for other developers being able to take advantage of the larger space.
Yeah.
And things that are designed to split the screen or to have like a left pane and a right pane, that type of thing works really well on a tablet. And I do like, if I have to go through and do like catch up on a lot of email,
Right.
I love the Gmail application on a tablet.
Yeah.
And that's just something where I can just kind of pick up and do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it a lot,
Right.
but when I do, that's nice to have.
Right.
Is that 10.5-inch screen, does it feel good for you?
It does. It feels really nice. It doesn't. So I have my iPad is an iPad Pro. It's one of the first generation ones, and it's huge.
Yeah.
And I find myself not using it because it's frankly just too big.
Okay.
It's hard to hold in my hand as a tablet and use the other hand. This is nice because it's big enough that it's a nice view, but it's also small enough that I can hold it in one hand.
Yeah, you can palm that.
It has I usually use it more for like reading applications and things like that, but it does have also Dolby Atmos. So
it sounds good. Like if you're watching YouTube videos or Amazon Prime things or even YouTube,
right,
it's going to sound good. Spec wise, I'm looking at some of the features here. It's got a MediaTek G80 processors. That's like an octa-core chip, up to 4 gigabytes of RAM, up to 128 gigabytes of storage.
Yeah.
Micro SD.
Yep.
Card reader. 8 megapixel camera on the front and back. To me, that's kind of an afterthought. I don't use.
Yeah.
But we do live in an era where video conferencing and chats and Zoom calls and things like that are very common. How's the battery life on that?
You know what? Have no complaints. I don't carry a tablet with me generally, but I have been carrying this one with me. I noticed the other day when I pulled it out of my bag, the battery was dead. And I think that was just a user error. I might have not locked it before I put it back in my bag or something like that. But other than that, after it was completely dead, I've charged it one time and I've been using it almost daily for about 2 weeks now.
Okay.
So battery life lasts great.
Yeah.
I'm not using it extended periods of time. I'll probably use it for maybe an hour at a time. But like I said, I've only really charged it one time.
It says on their website up to 12 hours of online video playback on a charge and up to 14 hours of web browsing.
Yeah.
So that's
that checks out.
And it will do 20 watt quick charge. So pretty fast.
Yeah.
It's not that super fast 65 watt stuff you see on flagship phones, but that's, you plug it in when you go to bed. That's not going to be a problem when you wake up.
Right.
So that's cool, man. So this is the 3rd generation.
Yes.
Lenovo. And the model is the Tab M10 Plus.
Yeah, and the only other thing with this, it does have support for the pen. It didn't come with a pen, but it does have that support. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, this is cool, but I would really like to have a pen, it does support that, but it's something you'd have to purchase separately.
Cool. Well, thanks, Luke.
No problem.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.